Hello, livestock friends, and welcome to this edition of Before the Bid. This is a podcast dedicated to the livestock sales industry where we go behind the scenes of the operation and speak straight to the sellers. We discuss topics about the important aspects of their operation, location, the people behind the prep work, and talk about some of the animals that will be offered to you, the prospective buyers. Hopefully, you've got your sale catalog close by. You might have to go look through that pile on your desk. But if not, then you're probably like me and driving down the road or busy with chores around the farm. And that's okay too. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I hope you enjoy this segment of Before the Bid. I'm your host, Andy Howell. Welcome, livestock friends, to this edition of Before the Bid podcast. And on this Before the Bid podcast, we go back to Texas, and we go to Mullen, Texas. We've been down in Texas for the last couple of these, so excited about that, and met some really good guys to have here on the podcast. On this podcast, we are going to be talking some show lambs and a show lamb sale here that is coming up on June 21st, and it is on SC Online Sales, and it is held by Bar H Show Lambs, and again, that's June 21st. They are having a March and April born online sale, and talking to a young man for this podcast that he's a 2016 high school graduate, so a young man that's getting into raising sheep on his own, had a successful career in showing sheep, and we're going to talk about that with him just a little bit here and explain some of those things. Had a parent that's done really well as well, and so I want to introduce you to his background and some different things that got him into wanting to raise his own sheep, sell his own sheep, and help young people along the way as he was helped along the way growing up in his career. And young man, not just in the sheep world, young man that is in the goat as well, and into the cattle a little bit. And interesting thing that I want to talk to him a little bit about is he is a rodeo guy as well, so grew up doing that. So we've got a lot of things to talk about here to get you the background of Mr. Hadley Seider, and we want to talk about quite a few things with that. And Hadley, you grew up showing sheep, and now you're in your fifth year of raising your own sheep. What is it that makes you have that drive, and why do you get up in the morning to go out and raise your own sheep, and instead of just sticking with the rodeo thing and doing those things? Why do you want to have your own sheep?
Well, like I say, it was just kind of a deal that to get up of a morning and see something running out in the pasture that I would have been excited to have in my barn, and to see that come from my breeding decisions and stuff that I've paired up, and to get those in young people's hands and let them attempt to have the same success and to make the same memories that I did growing up, that's just something that's always fueled my fire and got me going to get up and do this thing every day.
Right. Well, Hadley, appreciate you coming on the podcast, and appreciate our talk getting ready for this podcast. And we got a lot of things to cover here because you've got an exciting background, I think, and I want to help other people learn that background. If you would, walk us through a little bit of you're a young guy, but walk us through a little bit of your history there, and why you're in the livestock business, and why you went into the sheep business, and maybe some of the other things that you've done.
Well, like I say, I grew up in Mullen, Texas, and the lamb deal's just always kind of been a part of my family. My grandpa, Sammy Smith, is a guy that has helped me a lot through my show career and now raising these things. And like I say, he is somebody that I owe a lot to in that, and through my career. And I mean, he goes out every year to Roswell, New Mexico, to the Eastern New Mexico State Fair, and picks up a lot of show sheep picks up everything that's on the floor down there generally and brings it back to Texas. And we generally got to pick the bunch. And after that, I mean, he would sell those things to kids around here, kids that I grew up with, and I mean, just kids pretty much all over the state would come and buy from him to buy their projects. And like I say, that's just, I kind of got into it grew up into it. My family always did it. My mom won Houston when she was showing, I believe it was 91 or 92, somewhere in there, that she won Houston. It might have been, I can't remember the exact year, but and I mean, I've had a pretty successful family growing up in it, so it was just, I had a choice, but I didn't really have much choice to do it growing up.
Right. Your grandpa, not just a sheep guy, he's into another business as well.
Yeah, he's a order buyer for a lot of these guys down here. Goes to a lot of the sale barns around the state, does a lot of that. And like I say, I mean, him and even his dad were pretty well known in that deal. So I mean, my family's kind of had a foot in all aspects of this deal growing up. So I've been pretty blessed there.
Does he ever take you along with him, or did he take you along when you were younger, and you get to see that?
I used to always go growing up, and I'd walk in those sale barns and get my little sale card and sit there. And I know not one of my bids ever got took, but I would sit there at those deals and flash that card like crazy. And I'm sure he'd tell that auctioneer, yeah, I know. Be sitting there right beside me. But I mean, that was a pretty cool deal that I got to do growing up. So.
But you thought you were big stuff, right?
Yeah, I thought I was the hot shot back then.
That's good. Any interest in doing any cattle buying?
Here and there. I mean, like I say, we run lots of yearlings and stuff, and my brother and I actually do some rodeo stuff. So I mean, we'll eventually have to, like I say, my grandpa does a lot of the buying and stuff for us right now, like the roping calves and stuff. So, I do know one of these days we'll have to, if we want to keep that deal going, we'll have to do that for ourselves. But I mean, as far as the order buying and stuff like that goes, that's never really been something that's crossed my mind.
Yeah. Well, you brought up something else that you guys do, and part of your history and part of your growing up. You guys are into the rodeo thing quite a bit. You guys, you train some horses, and you were active in rodeo, and you and your brother have a kind of a special little deal.
Yes, sir. We, like I say, growing up, I was blessed to get to be a part of training some really nice horses, and getting to rope where I did. I got to rope with some of the biggest names in the game in the calf roping deal, and that was, I mean, a pretty influential part of who I grew up to be. And I mean, it made me want to get up and go do that deal. I mean, I got to grow up in the rope around the likes of Marty Yates and Tyson Durfee, and a lot of those guys that are winning the world every year are getting really close to it now. I mean, some guys that have been close to making the NFR that haven't. So, I mean, it was a pretty cool deal getting to do that growing up.
And now you don't just go compete at rodeos. Now you and your brother, don't you guys put some rodeos on?
Yes, sir. We actually have our own little rodeo company now that we're trying to get going. I mean, we've done some junior rodeos here and there, and we call it a E7 Rodeo Company. It's the brand comes from my grandma's side of the family on my mom's side. That's where the E7 comes from. And like I said, when my little brother started his bucking bull deal, he called it E7 Roast Stock, and then it pretty quickly got changed to E7 East 70 Rodeo Company, and we started doing some roping calves and steers and all that kind of stuff.
And he's got some bulls too as well, right?
Yes, sir. He's got several head of bucking bulls that we've put together. He and my grandpa are pretty well put together. I kind of let them handle the bucking bulls. When they grew horns, I decided I wanted to rope them and not ride them.
Right. Yeah. A little different deal than messing with the sheep as well, huh?
Yeah, it's a whole lot different deal messing with a 300-pound sheep than it is a 1,200-pound animal that wants to run you over.
Right. Well, that's really neat that you and your brother and you say he's a younger brother and
Yes.
you guys are already going at it and already have your own livestock and things and so I think that's a great deal.
Yes, sir. We've been pretty blessed with that.
Good. And you guys came up through, you guys weren't just at home doing those kind of things. You've got a extensive FFA background, is my understanding.
Yes, sir. Like I say, I judged all 4 years of high school in FFA and judged a couple of years with the 4-H. And we did, like I say, we did the CDEs, the LDEs. I was part of the quiz. Like I say, we did the quiz and all that stuff. And I was very active with the judging team. We missed going to state my junior and senior year by about 10 points both years. But I mean, we're down here in one of the toughest areas in the state of Texas. So I mean, that was still pretty well an accomplishment.
What were some of your FFA experiences that you think will help you now already with your sheep project and with your sheep flock? And then what do you think is going to help you in the future that you can bring out of that FFA experience?
Just the people that I met. I mean, I've met some of my best friends still through showing and through the FFA deal. I mean, some people have been very influential in my life. It's like I grew up showing in Brown County down here. And I mean, there's a lot of people that call the county I grew up showing in Houston. So I mean, I've met a lot of people that some of the biggest names in the game through FFA and 4-H down here in my area. A lot of people have always said that if you win Brown County, you're going to get a piece of a major. So, I mean, it's kind of like being thrown to the wolves third grade year, having to walk out there and show against, I mean, some of the biggest names in the sheep and goat industry down here.
Right, and you've had you also going through that, and you talked about your show career a little bit. You've had quite a bit of success in your sheep show career.
Yeah, I've been, like I say, I've lived a pretty blessed life doing this stuff. I dotted several at San Antonio, Fort Worth, Houston growing up, and my sophomore year, I actually was second in the heavyweight class at Houston or San Antonio, and that next year I was blessed enough to go back and actually win the heavyweight class. So that was a pretty cool experience, getting to win a class at a major and say that I'd done that. So that was a pretty cool deal.
Right. Yeah, you've had some other you were telling me about some other success that you've had.
Yeah, like I say, I won second in the heavyweight class the year before. And I dotted several throughout my show career at Houston. I stood 1/10 my senior year. Was top 5 a couple times with some fine wolves at San Antonio, and I was pretty blessed throughout my show career to be able to show some good sheep.
Yeah. Well, why with all the things that you had to choose from from order buying to rodeoing to cattle to different things like that, why the sheep?
It was just something that kind of lit a fire under me. That I mean, third grade year, fourth grade year, we ended up with some pretty good sheep, and it was just something that I fell in love with. Like I say, I showed some steers growing up, but my deal was kind of always the sheep, and that was always my side of the barn. My little brother would mess more with the cattle, but the sheep and goats were always my deal.
Mm-hmm. And
It's
also,
just something that I pretty well fell in love with doing that.
growing up, you had to choose as to whether you were going to fight LeBron James for the top spot in the NBA or the sheep,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Growing up, I thought I was a big hot shot at basketball. And like I say, I still when I went to college, that's kind of what I thought I wanted to be was a basketball coach. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I still wanted to be involved with the livestock and stuff like that, but the game of basketball has always come as something that's come pretty natural as far as knowing the game. That's always something that I've that's come pretty natural to me. But like I said, I got to college and realized that wasn't for me, and come home and started raising sheep.
Well, that's neat. Good deal. Yeah. What position?
I kind of played a little bit of everywhere. Played some shooting guard, and with a couple teams I would play some point guard. But like I say, I grew up growing up. I had lots of vision trouble, and I mean still to this day, my eyes are something that hinders me, and that was kind of my downfall playing basketball. I mean, my hand-eye coordination wasn't the best in the world. I wasn't the quickest in the world, so that kind of hurt me with that deal. And but I mean, this livestock deal is something that I've kind of adapted to and learned to get around.
Right. That's one thing that I think is kind of important and maybe a little
Yeah,
maybe a little dangerous to say this here, but sports are a great thing and I love them. I was
yes,
involved with
sir.
them as well, and I'm still involved with them with my teaching. I love basketball, but this livestock thing is something that can really hold and really stay with somebody long after high school, long after college, long after anything like
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
And
Yes, sir.
and you're doing that, and I love that. So you've got some ewes right now that you're selling some of these club lambs off of and things. What do you see as your future in this sheep business, Hadley?
Just keep growing this deal. Like I say, right now I'm at about 50 head of ewes, and I want to get this deal up to 150. Would be 150, 200 head. I say would be my goal, and eventually to expand more on that. But just be able to get it up to there and keep raising quality livestock, keep the herd advancing. I mean, through breeding and bringing a few in here and there. I just, like I say, I want to get it up to about 150, 200 head of ewes, but be able to, I mean, not just have quantity, but along with that, keep the quality moving forward.
Yeah, I like the quality, not just quantity thing.
Yes, sir. That's something that kind of holds true in pretty well anything you do. You want the quality to be there.
Right. Right. Who's a couple people that that have helped you get to where you are, in maybe in any of the livestock sectors that you're involved with? Who are some of those people?
Like I say, I owe a lot to my grandparents and to my parents. They've helped me a lot through that deal. But like I say, between late nights at the barn or helping me scramble the last little bit of money I need together to be able to do something, that's always helped to have them on my side. I've got a partner that I've kind of teamed up with this year, Blaine Hughes, that is starting to come into this deal and help me a lot. And we're working on getting a quality set put together to be able to raise quality animals for years to come.
All right. Well, that sounds good. Yeah, I plan to keep it right there, a family operation, and have Blaine come in there as well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good deal. What you've got a couple sheep that have got you started really well and got you producing some lambs that you can put out there. Tell us about you. You told me about one of these ewes. Tell us about her.
Well, yes, sir. The we were discussing earlier was one that I believe it was 3 years ago now. We got out of an AI to a buck that was called Profit. And we actually have two of these ewes here, but there's one of them that's pretty well been the one to lay down and have, whether it be our best ewe or best weather or keeper buck every year. I mean, her first lamb crop, we had a buck lamb that we were going to keep, and he ended up dying on us, and that was a pretty tough loss. But the next couple of years, we had one last year that was sold that we had a ewe and a buck both. We kept the ewe lamb out of her, and then we got a buck lamb out of her that we were going to keep, but ended up selling that sheep for $2,500. And I mean, somebody walks up and offers you good money for one. It's kind of hard to turn that down. And then this year she's got another really good one on the ground that I think is going to be pretty special.
Right. Yeah. And you not only sell these lambs out of her and out of them, you don't just put them in your own online sale. Aren't you involved in a couple other sales?
Yes, sir. I mean, like I say, it was the first year, but I put one in the Young Guns about a month ago now it would be, and that was a pretty cool experience. That the Young Gun, I don't know if you know much about the Young Gun sheep and goat sale or sheep sale down here in Texas, but it's by far the biggest sheep sale in Texas and one of the biggest ones in the country. And to be able to sell under the lights at that deal and get seen with some of the biggest names in the game, that was a pretty cool experience.
Right. Now, how do you get into that Young Guns? Is it a sword? Is it a invitation?
This year they opened it up to a sword. They sorted it Friday, Saturday, and but like I say, I'm buddies with Guy and Trey Glasscock down here, kind of the founders of that deal, and was talking to them and got a pretty good one put in there. And like I say, it was definitely some great advertisement, good for getting my name out there.
Yeah, good. Sometimes we got to take those steps and take those maybe even risks to get that name out there, right?
Yes, sir, definitely.
Good, and doing a good job and had a good hit there at the Young Guns sale. So congratulations on that, and seems like you're really trying to move this thing and get yourself in some good positions.
Yes, sir. Like I say, we've made some big moves here the last couple of years. We bought back in the fall. We bought a set of bred ewes. We bought out from a lady down south that had a bunch of McLennan bred sheep that a lot of those are what's going to be in the online sale. So that really helped us out a lot. And we've bought a couple bucks this spring from we bought a buck called American Dream from the Glasscocks that is an American muscle son, which goes back to some of Wade Franklin's breeding. And then the Franklins have won like crazy in the sheep and goat deal for years. I mean, that's kind of the top dog, as you would say. So, I mean, that was pretty cool to be able to get on some of these ewes. So we're excited to get that buck back on some of these ewes in the fall.
You ready to get into these lambs in this sale?
That sounds good to me.
Okay. Just to remind everybody, on June 21st, SC Online Sales. Go down there and find the Bar H Show Lambs. See their sale site there, and you can go to that and look at these lambs online. And Hadley, when do you think these will be up? Did you say like Tuesday the 16th or so?
Yes, sir. something like that. It'll be either Tuesday the 15th or Wednesday the 16th, right around there somewhere. We'll have them up and ready to look at. And those sheep are always available for viewing here at the house. If anybody's down in this area and wants to come look at them, they're available pretty well any time to look at.
Okay. And as you said, I think we may have mixed our dates up, so we just want to make sure Tuesday the 16th or Wednesday the 17th or so, you'll have those pictures up, and then they'll be up there the rest of the time and until the sale time on that. So on SC online sales. So. Well, Hadley, why don't you just you got 4 ewes and 5 wethers. Why don't you just kind of break in and tell us about some of these lots?
Well, the lot, the sheep that we're going to start to sell off with, as soon as we decided to do this online sale, he's been the lot one since day one, and we're wanting to offer him as a round weather auction. He's out of some of the stuff that we bought down south. He's out of a buck that we call 1803 that was bred by Jason Walker, which goes back to a lot of Ellerbrock's breeding, and then on his dad's side, and he's out of a Fort Worth donor ewe, and Fort Worth is a McLennan buck that has been one of the pretty special ones in this game for a while now. But that sheep is one that's big boned, huge rack, huge hipped. I mean, from the ground up, he's built right, got the muscle, got the look, tall fronted. And I mean, I think if it wasn't for the purchases we've made this spring with bucks, he'd be staying here and staying intact.
Mm-hmm.
But I think whether you want to keep him intact and raise some good ones or cut him, and I think he's one to go anywhere and have some fun with. I think he's that quality of sheep.
Okay, we had a little muffle there at the start. You say he is a buck weather option, correct?
Yes.
Okay, great.
The Lot 2 sheep is a sheep that is out of a buck that we called Wolverine that we actually lost this year, so that was kind of a tough one. But he was a shoot son, the buck that is a Harrow buck. But this sheep is out of Wolverine and out of a fine wool cross ewe. But so he's one that is a little lighter colored. The cross kind of shows up. But as far as the sheep himself goes, I mean, he's another giant boned, big footed, big hip one that is ultra cool fronted. He kind of has a lot of the same look as the Lot 1 sheep, but I think he's gonna be the powerhouse of the sale. He's gonna be the one that's gonna be almost as wide as he is long, and just have a ton of product.
A lot of people really like those big, powerful sheep, and he might be the one for them, man.
Yes, sir. If gonna need a powerhouse, he's gonna be the one.
Lot 3.
Lot 3 is a blue sheep that's gonna be on picture day. He's gonna be a little skinnier. He's not quite as far along as I would want him to be, but this guy is, when you get him right, I think may end up being the best one in the sale. He's ultra level hipped, really, really cool fronted. He's gonna be big, bold ribbed, big boned, gonna be adequately shaggy. He'll have enough leg shag, but you'll have to really work with it to get it ultra shaggy, but I think he's gonna have enough. And he's going to be the eye catcher of the sale. He's going to be one that when you walk in the ring, he's going to be the one to catch everybody's eye.
Right, got that little extra pizzazz to him there.
Yeah, he's got the little extra look. Like I say, I mean, he's a blue sheep, so I mean that's going to be naturally an eye catcher. But he's going to be the one, in my opinion. I think if you get him right, that one may end up being the best one in the sale.
Yeah, and he is on the Bar H Show Lambs Facebook page as
Yes, sir.
well. And
He's up on the Facebook page. And like I say, I think I've got a picture of all the weathers and all but one of the ewe lambs on the Facebook page.
okay, yeah, if this happens to come out if we get this put out before the SC online sale pictures and things are on, so you can get a preview of those on the Bar H Show Lambs Facebook page.
Yes, sir. And like I said, these sheep are available anytime to look at here at the house. I have them in a pen. We can bring them up, get them set up for anybody, whoever wants to come look. I'm available pretty well anytime. My number's on the Facebook page. So that's the easiest way to contact me is by call or text. I do respond to the Facebook Messenger pretty well, but not as well as a call or a text.
Yeah, also on the SC online sales down there. That's how we got your number.
Yes, sir.
Lot 4 and 5, they're kind of a special little deal here.
Yes, sir. The lot 4 and 5 is kind of a tricky little deal. It's a set of twins that come out that one of them, normal white-faced sheep. But his twin brother is kind of a weird deal. He's out of a black-faced ewe and a black-faced buck, but down the line, telling him some horses because it popped out in this guy. He's is my only deal about this sheep. I'm not real sure. I think you could run him in the blacks. He's got enough black on him that I think you could go in the blacks. And as far as flat out build of the sheep goes, I think the way he's built, this is my favorite sheep in the sale. That Dorset lamb is ultra level hipped, really, really cool fronted, big round ribbed. I think if somebody wanted to run him in the blacks, I think he could compete. But I think you might could get him in as a cross at a county. So lot 5, his brother, it's kind of built the same way. He's a little like the blue sheep. He's a little green, but he's ultra big bone, big shaggy legged, and gonna be big hipped big racked, and got a giraffe neck on him. He's gonna be ultra cool fronted.
So you got the 5 weathers in the sale.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and they run lot 1 through 5, and then
yes, sir.
After that you got 4 ewes, right?
Yes, sir. We're gonna stick 4 ewes in there. If it wasn't for the number of ewe lambs that we had this year, these ewes generally stay at the house. They're quality that we would normally keep, but we've had so many ewes this year that we're having to let go of some good ones. And these things are bred to be good and make good babies. They're out of a buck that I purchased online last year from a man named Justin Stacy out of Oklahoma. And this buck is actually a full brother to the 2019 San Antonio champion. He's a full brother to the sheep that won San Antonio in 2019. So he's got the genetics, and these ewes have got the genetics as well to go and be good breeding pieces for a program for years to come.
Mm-hmm.
Lot 6 and 7 is a set of twin ewes that is out of that same buck, and they've got a lot of the same look. They're big racked, ultra cool fronted. They could stand to be a little bigger boned, but like I say, I think if you get those things on a buck that is big boned, you could make some really special ones out of those ewes, because they've got the look and they've got the muscling. They just need a little bit of bone on them. I think if you get those things on some big bone buck, you're gonna have some really special babies come out of that set. Those either 6 and 7 both.
Diverse ewes, right? You can go whatever way you want with them.
Yeah, you can kind of go whatever way you want with them.
Good deal.
stick them on one that's tall and pretty, and I think they're still going to make some good ones, or you stick them on a absolute powerhouse, and they're still going to, they're going to be able to lay down and have a good one either way. Lot 8, we're going to stick a ewe in there that, as I say, she's one that I normally wouldn't sell, but with the number of ewes we had this year, and I've actually got her mom, and I've got a half-sister to her mom here, so I'm going to go ahead and let her go. She's kind of the same way. She's ultra level hipped, big square rack in her, tall frontage, neck comes out high. She's just one that the same way needs to be, I think, a little bigger boned. And I think if you get her on a big bone buck, she could be the centerpiece of somebody's program for years. She's pretty close to being donor quality, in my opinion.
Oh wow, good deal. Yeah, the kind you like to sell and get in other people's hands, right?
Yes, sir. Her mom was actually a show ewe a couple of years ago for a kid that lives up the road from me, and come show day, that ewe was she stood 4th, I think, in her class at Brown County. And like I said earlier in the podcast, Brown County is one of the toughest counties in the state of Texas, if not the toughest. And she stood 4th to the Grand Inn Reserve of the county. We're both in that class.
Oh, wow.
So she was, she had a rack that you couldn't get your hand across, and this ewe is going to be the same way. Big racked, big hipped, and still got that ultra cool up-fronted look that catches everybody's eye.
Well, good deal. Neat deal. Hadley,
Yes, sir.
Where is Mullen, Texas? If people want to come see these sheep here before the online sale, can you give us a
Mullen
reference?
Is about an hour and a half, 2 hours south of Abilene. South of Abilene, Texas. We're 2 hours kind of southwest of Fort Worth.
Okay. All right. Cool
Yes,
deal.
sir.
They can come see these sheep or get them some pictures or some video or anything like that they might need.
Yeah, I'm definitely willing to work with anybody on whatever needs to be done. These things are available to view pretty much any time of the day, and I can get pictures, videos, anything I need to, whenever.
Okay. Well, that sounds great. Again, that's the Bar H Show Lambs, June 21st on SC Online Sales. They've got their March and April born online sale, and you just heard Hadley talk about those sheep and describe those. And so, again, if you need any more information, why you can get with him. And Hadley, I appreciate you getting joined up with us here to do this Before the Bid podcast. And is there anything else that we might need to know or that you want everybody to know before we close this thing out?
Not that I can think of. Just if anybody has any questions, numbers on the Facebook page, numbers on SC. I'd be willing to help do whatever.
Well, that sounds great. We were talking earlier, and you said that you and J.D. Pruitt, who we had on here a little over a week ago, are good friends. So
yes, sir. I got to know J.D. pretty well through this deal.
Well, that's good. Yeah, we're getting down in that Texas area, and we've done the last couple of them down there from Texas operations. So that's exciting to us, and so exciting that you guys know each other and so recognize that. So I think that's really cool.
Yes, sir.
Good deal. Well, Hadley, I want to wish you good luck with the sale and here on June 21st on SC Online Sales. And again, just want to thank you for being a guest here on Before the Bid podcast.
Yes, sir. Definitely appreciate you for having me.
All right. Well, thank you. And livestock friends, again, this has been another edition of Before the Bid podcast. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Before the Bid. For more information and to learn more about upcoming podcasts and sales, visit us at beforethebid.podbean.com or Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram pages. For information on being a guest on Before the Bid, please email us at beforethebid@gmail.com or one of our social media pages. Remember, that's beforethebid@gmail.com. Happy sales to you, and we will talk to you next time on Before the Bid.